Matilda is like the perfect childhood fairy tale. Good triumphs over evil. A little girl discovers her power, and all the characters get their just punishment. But in real life, the actors behind the magic face far more unpredictable twists and turns. Fames have faded, careers have collapsed, illnesses have struck, and some have left Hollywood forever. Let's discover their real names, their untold journeys, and celebrate the legacy they left behind. Mara Wilson as Matilda Wormwood. Mara Wilson was born on July 24, 1987, in Burbank, California. In the 1996 film Matilda, at the age of 9, she played Matilda Wormwood, an intelligent girl who could control objects with her mind and always outsmarted the adults around her. Her gentle face and captivating calmness made the character unforgettable. However, her personal life gradually fell apart behind the scenes. Her personal life was soon marred by heartbreak. Mara never married, but the center of her emotional world collapsed when her mother died of breast cancer during the filming of Matilda. This loss profoundly affected her childhood and shaped how she loved, trusted, and understood the world long before she was able to move past it. Her career, once brilliance after Mrs. Doubtfire and Miracle on 34th Street, was now burdened by the pressures of being a child star in Hollywood. Depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and burnout discouraged her from acting, turning auditions into battles she no longer wanted to participate in. Eventually, she gave up acting altogether, choosing writing as a safer outlet for her thoughts and feelings. By 2025, Mara Wilson, 38, will be living her own life as a writer and mental health advocate. Her estimated net worth of $500,000 reflects a modest but purposeful career. Danny DeVito as Harry Wormwood. Daniel Michael DeVito Jr. Born November 17, 1944, in Neptune Township, New Jersey. At 51, he played Harry Wormwood, a rough, scheming used car salesman and irresponsible father, in the 1996 film Matilda. His character embodied Matilda's chaotic, reckless antics, while DeVito himself directed and provided the voice acting for the film. But behind the wild humor was a man entering one of the most emotionally complex chapters of his life. His marriage to actress Rhea Perlman, once admired for its enduring strength, began to unravel under years of quiet tension and mismatched ambitions. After decades, they separated, briefly reconciled, then separated again. Neither could quite leave, but neither could quite stay. The emotional toll of the disintegrating relationship affected his work and left him a silent shadow in his older years. As he aged, fatigue and stress became his constant companions, exacerbated by the pressures of directing and acting in demanding projects. His body slowed down, his energy drained, but he persevered. These hardships would affect his later career, creating a softer, more vulnerable version of the man who once shouldered the full weight of production projects. Danny DeVito is 81 years old today, still alive, still working, and incredibly defying time. His estimated net worth of $80 million reflects a lifetime of tireless hard work, not a life of luxury. And while the world may laugh at him, only he knows how much of that laughter he has earned through suffering. Paul Reubens, who played FBI agent Bob, whose real name was Paul Rubenfeld, was born on August 27, 1952, in Peekskill, New York. At the age of 43, he played the awkward, overly curious FBI agent Bob in the 1996 film Matilda. His witty portrayal was a stark contrast to the portrayal of a man who had struggled with hardship and suffering for many years in real life, a far cry from the comical awkwardness of the character he portrayed. Reubens never married and spent most of his life without a lasting romantic relationship. His most recent romantic relationships came and went quietly, overshadowed by public scandals and the isolating demands of fame. Ultimately, his personal world remained small and closed, marked by friendships that provided him with fleeting comfort but never truly became a home. Career setbacks and illness soon became a silent battle he had to fight alone. After the scandal that ruined Pee Wee Herman's image, he spent years rebuilding himself, carrying deep emotional scars. Then cancer struck. First came myeloid leukemia, then metastatic lung cancer, a diagnosis he kept secret, even though it seriously affected his health. Every appearance, every role became a show of willpower, hiding the increasingly unbearable pain. Unfortunately, Paul Reubens died on July 30, 2023, at the age of 70, of respiratory failure caused by the progression of the cancer. In his final written apology, he expressed regret, gratitude, and the unspeakable sorrow of his life. He was cremated and laid to rest at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, leaving behind an estimated $5 million fortune, a small sum compared to the solitude, extraordinary talent, and silent grief that shaped his final years. Marion Dugan as Cookie. Marion Barton Dugan was born on February 16, 1918, in Oak Park, Illinois. At the age of 78, she played Cookie, the seemingly rude but kind school cook, in the 1996 film Matilda. Her brief appearances brought humor and humanity to the film, despite her life being filled with professional challenges in her later years. Her marriage to Charles Dugan lasted from 1942 until his death in 2008. The relationship was based on loyalty, but also marked periods of emotional strain, as Dugan struggled to juggle a difficult career while raising 4 children. The loss of her husband, after more than 6 decades of marriage, left a lasting pain that continued into her later years. Her career was fraught with difficulties. She landed mostly supporting roles, but struggled with the financial pressures and loneliness of being an aging actress in Hollywood, where opportunities were quickly disappearing. Despite this, she starred in acclaimed films such as Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and The Fugitive, proving her talent even when the film industry ignored her. But the isolation of her limited roles and declining health took a toll on her soul. Sadly, Marion Dugan died of natural causes and age-related complications on March 31, 2015, in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 97. Her estimated net worth of $500,000 is more a testament to humble work and perseverance than fame. She now rests in peace, bearing the dignity of a woman who overcame hardship and tribulation, leaving small but memorable marks in film history. Pam Ferris as Agatha Trunchbull. Born on May 11, 1948 in Hanover, Germany, Pam Ferris played Agatha Trunchbull, the tyrannical and terrifying headmistress who terrorized Matilda and her classmates in the 1996 film Matilda when she was 48 years old. Her powerful looks and cold anger made her one of the most unforgettable villains in film history. But behind that ferocity lay a real price that audiences never saw. Ferris's marriage to actor Roger Frost has been going strong since 1986, although distance often took its toll on them, as Ferris's work required constant travel between the US and the UK. Their marriage overcame long periods of separation and the mental strain of a career that consumed her younger years. Her career brought her fame but also physical pain. On the set of Matilda, she suffered an eye injury from chalk dust and a torn finger that required stitches, adding to the real pain of an already emotionally demanding role. Nevertheless, she continued to move forward, later receiving recognition for her performance in Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban and her BAFTA-nominated performance in Call the Midwife. However, the pressure of portraying tough, fearsome characters left her struggling with burnout long after filming had finished. By 2025, Pam Ferris was 77 years old and living a peaceful life in England, occasionally appearing in film and stage projects. His estimated net worth of $6 million reflects his decades of consistent acting and theater work. Embeth Davids is Jennifer Honey. Embeth Davids was born on August 11, 1965, in Lafayette, Indiana. At the age of 31, she played Jennifer Honey, the gentle, protective teacher who became Matilda's refuge in the 1996 film Matilda. Her warm, on-screen persona belied the quiet storms she faced later. Her marriage to attorney Jason Sloan was relatively stable, but their family life was turned upside down when a 2013 cancer diagnosis plunged them into a world of hospitals, surgeries, and fear. The treatments were debilitating, and the weight of uncertainty weighed heavily on their family, turning everyday life into emotional battles they were ill-prepared for. Her career, which had soared after Schindler's List and Junebug, was abruptly cut short by chemotherapy and the long, painful recovery that followed. But Davids bounced back with incredible courage, refusing prosthetics and instead choosing to show off her real body after a mastectomy in Ray Donovan, turning vulnerability into reality. Her roles in The Amazing Spider-Man and her critically acclaimed directorial debut 2024 reflected a woman rebuilding herself through art. In 2025, Embeth Davids, 60, will still be acting, creating, and living with the quiet echoes of survival. Her estimated net worth of $5 million is modest by Hollywood standards, but she represents a career defined not by glamour, but by a resilience and honesty that has forever changed the public's perception of her. Kiami Davael Trung or Lavender. Kiami Davael was born on August 21, 1986, in Kentucky. At just 10 years old, she played Lavender, the mischievous, brave friend who brought warmth and adorable antics to the 1996 film Matilda. Her bright smile and cheerful energy made Lavender an instant icon, leaving an indelible mark on audiences. The spark of childhood passion laid the foundation for a career that many thought would blossom, though life soon took a different path. Since Kiami never married, the most important parts of her story unfold in her early roles. In addition to Matilda, she also appeared in the series Moesha and the Steve Harvey Show, which briefly showcased her comedic charm. These roles heralded a promising career before the harsh realities of Hollywood competition set in. The transition from child star to professional adult was much more difficult than expected. Her career quickly became a struggle against increasingly limited opportunities and the mental burden of fading fame. Hollywood was changing rapidly, and Kiami struggled with a loss of motivation, eventually turning to screenwriting and producing to regain control of his creative identity. He found solace on stage, mentoring young artists, and used screenwriting to regain his confidence as he distanced himself from an industry that had once welcomed him. These choices allowed him to mature beyond the limitations of his early fame. By 2025, 39-year-old Kiami Davael is living a quiet life as an independent producer and occasional acting coach, focusing on steady work rather than the public eye. Her estimated net worth is $200,000, reflecting a modest but steady path she has built after years of struggling in the industry. Jacqueline Steiger as Amanda Thripp. Jacqueline Steiger was born on December 26, 1986, in Reseda, California. She played Amanda Thripp, the adorable little girl with the signature pigtails, who became part of one of Matilda's most memorable scenes when she was just 10 years old. Her shocked expression in the scene where the Trunchbull throws Matilda away made her an instant fan favorite. Despite her early recognition, her acting career soon took an unexpected turn. Jacqueline never married, and her public image remains tied to her few but memorable roles. In addition to her role as Matilda, she also appeared in the films Beautiful 2000 and Dennis the Menace 1998, which showcased her versatility. These roles demonstrated her ability to excel in both comedy and drama, before retiring to pursue a career in academia. Her promising talent as a child was clearly evident in her final film roles. Career challenges arose as she struggled to shake off the child actress image imposed on her by Hollywood. Rather than take on roles that no longer brought her joy, Jacqueline decided to study linguistics. Leaving Hollywood came with emotional challenges, including a sense of alienation from the world that once celebrated her. But the decision allowed her to focus on intellectual work and creative projects that she could manage herself. By 2025, Jacqueline Steiger, 39, will live a quiet life, working selectively in production and academic fields related to linguistics. Her estimated net worth of $100,000 reflects a simple yet stable life shaped not by fame but by conscious choices. Although she has now faded from the spotlight, she remains a beloved figure among fans who grew up with Matilda, and her brief but memorable contribution to film history is still highly regarded. Rhea Perlman as Zinnia Wormwood, Rhea Jo Perlman, born March 31, 1948 in Brooklyn, New York. At 48, she played Zinnia Wormwood, the loud, indifferent mother whose ruthless heart fed Matilda's loneliness in the 1996 film Matilda. Her loud costumes and cold indifference created one of the film's sharpest contrasts, even as her real life entered a much more sensitive chapter. Her marriage to Danny DeVito, once admired for its stability, became strained as their careers took them in different directions. They married in 1982, raised 3 children, and built careers together for decades. But the emotional distance quietly built up until they separated in 2012, briefly reunited, and then separated again in 2017. Despite the heartache, they decided not to divorce and stayed in touch for the sake of the family they had built together. The pressures of the industry quickly mounted, and Perlman struggled with Hollywood's tendency to narrow roles for older actresses. Despite winning a landslide Emmy Award for her performance in Cheers and giving memorable performances in Sunset Park and The Sessions, she still had to deal with the pain of being pigeonholed and ignored. The fatigue of aging often cast a shadow over her work, but she persevered. By 2025, Rhea Perlman was 77 years old and still appeared in smaller film and television projects with quiet persistence. Her estimated net worth of $50 million, built through a lifelong acting career and her shared fortune with DeVito, reflects resilience rather than extravagance. Jean Spiegel Howard as Mrs. Phelps. Jean Spiegel Howard, who was born on January 31, 1927, in Duncan, Oklahoma, played Mrs. Phelps, the kind librarian who first gave Matilda shelter in the 1996 film Matilda when she was 69 years old. Her warmth lent a rare tenderness to the film, a delicate performance built on decades of quiet and persistent work. In 1949, she married actor Rance Howard, a marriage that lasted more than 50 years. Their relationship remained strong and loving, even as age and illness cast a shadow over the final decades of their lives. They weathered the mental pressures of declining health together, supporting each other as best they could. Her career faced challenges familiar to many older actresses, mostly landing smaller roles, despite bringing depth to projects like Apollo 13 and Scrooge. Even in her late 60s, she struggled with the frustration of being underappreciated as she watched her sons Ron and Clint Howard rise in Hollywood. As the cancer progressed, exhaustion gradually consumed her life. Jean Spiegel Howard eventually died on September 2, 2000, at the age of 73, of cancer-related cardiac and respiratory complications. She was buried in Hollywood Forever Cemetery next to her surviving husband, leaving behind an estimated $1 million fortune, reflecting her decades of humble but dedicated work. And even now, the brief time she played Mrs. Phelps resonates.